Alright, so we are going to import documents into Relativity. We're using the Relativity desktop client. As you can see, we have all the folders here that are available to us. For this case, I'm going to click on my name so that this imports into my folder. Whatever is highlighted is where you will import documents, okay? There are two ways to do it. You can select Tools, Import, or you can go down here, right-click, Import, and what we are going to do is import a load file. Now, as you can see, there are no documents in my folder right now. We're going to select a load file. For the sake of this, I have modified a DAT file that's on my desktop. So I have named it this production, and here is my DAT file. Open. Now, it's not going to let me look at it right now because, one, I have the file open, but I want to show you that when I select this file and I go to run, I know for certain that it works. Okay, so I have the right file path here. So I'm going to shut this down. The encoding should be Western European, and as you do that, it should populate all the different things that we were looking for. Okay, here are the delimiters that we chose. Start line is going to be 0, and the first line contains the column names, so that should make sense, and that's why this pops up. Okay, for your field map, what we're going to do is match these up properly. So we're going to select all of these, but we're going to select them in the order that we want. So okay, and so we'll do the same over here. So we know that this is the doc ID is the one that we want first. Doc ID is the identifier. Let's see if there's an NDoc. Alright, so there's not, so you know what we're going to do? We'll just leave this one out for the time being. Email to, email to from. Okay, so now we have these a little bit out of order, which is fine because all we have to do is highlight and we can move it up if we like. Or we can just change the order of how we import it. It doesn't matter as long as this matches this, and this matches email to, and then the next one is from, and email subject, text precedence, so this would be extracted text. And then the file path, we're going to leave this one off too, but the file path is important because we are going to load that through here. Okay. Actually, I guess we could add it. So it will populate in a field, but on top of adding it to a field, it will also take and add that in to the actual database itself. Okay. There are two options. We have append and overlay. Append means that you are going to add it to the end of the database. Okay, so it's something that does not currently exist in the database. If you want to do an overlay, what that means is that the record already exists in Relativity and you are adding something. So for example, if you have, in this situation, we didn't import the production ending dates. If I wanted to come back at a later time and add the production ending dates in, then what I would do is I would do an overlay. Okay. For the sake of this, we're not going to deal with folder info. Folder info will actually tell you how to populate this. Okay, usually is the ED folder if you are importing documents that have been exported from law. Okay, and cell contains file location. This is going to be your extracted text. So this field right here, which is our text precedence in our load file, but extracted text in our database, this one is going to be, it's going to automatically populate the extracted text field. Okay? All right, we should be good to go. We're going to, on the import, let's just preview errors, see if there are any problems. There are no errors, which is good news. So I'm going to import it. It is just one document. So import file. All right. So as this is loading, I want to make sure that I have this open. I'm not sure if it'll actually populate here without you seeing it. Typically, you have to hit F5 and have it refresh in order for that to work. So, int, one record of one processed, all good. Okay. So as soon as that is done, we come over to this window. We don't see anything here right now, but all you have to do is hit F5. F5 is a refresh. And as this repopulates and refreshes, when you go down into my folder, now you see my document. And the great thing about this is that it didn't just load the database record, but when you actually click on the document itself, you'll be able to see it in the viewer. It has a native, as you can see, because it's got the button there, and you can also see the extracted text. Okay, so you can load documents directly to Relativity, both the native file and the extracted text, actually, and the image if you'd like, all in one shot using the DAT and the OPT files. And there you have importing documents into Relativity using the desktop Relativity client.